You should be good if you want to start it.
Okay, ready to go then? Okay, let's get started here. We'll call the meeting order and say the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Everybody here tonight? Got the forum. Regular agenda, we've got a couple of changes. I know of number 8, as opposed to Cheyenne diversion, that's supposed to be County Road 17. And then on number 9, it's supposed to be project to the lowest responsible bidder. We're missing the word bidder on there. Okay, you had one there?
Yeah,
Lucas?
Mr. Mayor, if we could add River's Edge Second Edition easements to item 13B, please.
River's Edge, what was that again, Lucas?
River's Edge Second Edition easements.
Okay. Okay, any other changes you guys aware of them? Okay, we'll look for a motion to accept the regular agenda with said changes.
Motion to accept.
Okay, Sarah makes a motion, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Mary does a second. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Moving the consent agenda, was there any questions on that? If not, then I'll look for a motion to accept the consent agenda as is.
I'll make that motion.
Amanda makes a motion, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Stephanie's a second. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, city council meeting minutes from on May 20th. Any corrections or additions to that? If not, then I'll look for a motion to accept the minutes as is.
Motion to accept. minutes.
Okay, Sarah makes a motion, can I get a second?
Second.
Jeff does a second. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, public comment time. Anybody got anything you want to chat about tonight? Going once, going twice. Okay. Sheriff's update, they're not here tonight, so we'll wait till the next go around for that. All right, Jim, you got 8.
All right, Mr. Mayor and Council, we've been requested to provide a proposal from the contractor for installing pedestrian activated traffic crosswalk beacons on Wall Avenue near the frontage road. Code Underground was the contractor on that project. The project is still open, so we can do this via change order if you so choose. We have 2 options. One is a solar powered system, which is total price was $28,769.50, or an electronic powered, which means it is powered through the hard wiring, no solar, and that one's $33,053.50. The city currently has one of each, just happened to be the location of the 76th Avenue one as to why that's solar. And then there are other ones up in Southdale Farms that are just hardwired in. So it's kind of a matter of just, in that area, I think there's a little bit of quite a bit of shade. And I'm sure that they can still pick up plenty of juice off of those solar panels, but it's kind of up to your preference, I guess, either one. If you even want to go forward with it, I mean, got the proposals, presenting them now, so.
So the solar one's cheaper than?
No, yeah, the solar one is cheaper than because they don't have to do any wiring to get it there.
I suppose, yeah.
Just drill a hole, put the post up
Okay.
and whatever. It needs to be, these are the same model that's on 76th Avenue, same model that's up in Southdale Farms 4th edition. And basically the same thing.
That was my only concern with the solar, is if there's gonna be too much shade there to keep that thing active.
Yeah, and that was my concern as well on the south side, those big
Mhm.
cottonwood trees on the south side where I think they say there's enough ambient light in the air to charge those, but I don't know if they need to have a nice solid, steady ray of sunshine at times, kind of like
Yeah.
I would watch that's solar powered, it needs that.
I guess I'd be a little bit inclined to go with the electrical, even though I know it's more, but at least then we know it's hot.
Yeah.
It's not gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, spending 28,000 on a solar one just for it to not work would be.
Right, it doesn't make sense, so.
Yep.
That's what I'm gonna recommend. Anybody got any other comments on that? I think we should do it, I mean, honestly, it's a safety feature, and then if we keep it hot the whole time, we can.
Yeah, these are different than the ones that are up by Casey's, these are pedestrian activated,
Yeah.
so at the time, the pedestrian activated ones weren't, we did the crossing on 17, but now I've really become to like those more, just because you can kind of become immune to the flashing, constant
Yeah.
flashing. If you
Correct.
hit the button, then it starts flashing.
Yeah, it'll grab your attention, otherwise you like, so you just get immune to
You
it.
just get
after a
immune
while.
to it, yep.
I think it will be a good safety feature. Yeah, motion to approve the electronic frontage road pedestrian crossing beacon.
Okay, Sarah makes a motion, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Amanda does a second. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Jim, you got the next
I
one
do.
too.
Let me bring up my.
Sorry, don't mean we're moving too quick on you.
Well, I know, I just gotta get click happy here. All right, Mr. Mayor and Council, so Water Sewer Storm and Street Improvement District 2023-4, 64th Avenue from County Road 17, west to beyond 66th Street. Bids were open last Friday. City received bids from 4 contractors, all finished concrete, Dakota Underground, J.R. Furchie, and Park Construction Company. Summary of the bids was all finished was $9,105,093. Dakota Underground was $6,575,985.02. This Furchie one is not right. It's $8,162,538.97.
I was confused.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just caught that as I was reading it. And Park was $6,363,257.22. So the low bidder was Park Construction at $6,362,257.22. The engineer's estimate was $6,733,221. So we had 2 above and 2 below. We fell right in the middle, which always makes me feel pretty good when we can do it, when we're right in the middle of it. We did request additional information from the contractor as far as pertaining to the responsible bidder policy. I did get that late this afternoon. I was able to go through it. I didn't see anything that was, anything that struck out of the ordinary. Parks working.
They're already working out there.
They're working on the west side of Wall Avenue. I will go through and do a formal evaluation of this with the policy like I typically do for the file, but I didn't see anything in here, and in talking with Park, they were pretty anxious and eager to get it, and we're ready to get started on it, so.
And they have the manpower even with this other work that they have going on?
Yeah, because they
and
said by the
everything
time they
else?
get contracts and everything around, they gotta get a pipe crew in there, and the pipe crew's done on the west side of Wall, so they actually
So
jumped
they can
over.
roll them right.
That's what their
Okay.
plan was.
So hopefully
yeah.
not having to re-marshal equipment.
Yeah, and they were doing some work along the diversion too, so they have a little bit of pipe work along the diversion, and they're gonna, sounded like they're moving over to 64th Avenue. So, I don't have any issue with awarding to Park Construction. If you felt more comfortable, you could do it contingent upon full review of the responsible bidder policy, which wouldn't require any more action of you. It would just be me putting together the formal items with the packet like I normally do. So it's up to you guys. I'm gonna do it either way. It's just a matter of what you're comfortable with as far as the bidding is.
Any questions or comments? I'm fine with doing Park, put a contingent on Jim's final review.
Yep.
The responsible bidder policy.
Okay. Someone want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Stephanie makes the motion. Can I get a second on that?
Second.
Jeff is a second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Jim, you're up again.
All right, so Mr. Mayor and Council, we have Deer Creek Estates second and third editions. This project has been kind of going through the review process for quite a while now. What we've got is, this is the area south of Deer Creek Parkway, north of 64th Avenue, and then west of County Road 17, minus the large commercial lot adjacent to County Road 17. Residential in nature, pretty much all residential. There's a couple, I think, townhomes within that subdivision. But what I'm asking for tonight is just a recommendation, or approval of the plans and specifications contingent upon the final review of city staff, similar to the way we did Southdale Farms 6th edition. Just, this is the second one that we're doing with standard city specifications and standard city contract documents, and we just want to make sure that we get it right, but I don't want to drag it out for another 2 weeks to bring it back to you, just knowing the time is of the essence. And this is a 100% local project. It doesn't have any regional benefit outside of where it's at. So,
Okay.
comments?
Any questions or comments on this?
Do we still have the road going north up into Deer Creek on this one?
The road going north, that's on 64th.
Oh, I'm sorry. That is on 64th. This one is the cut across, yes?
Yes, fills in between Deer Creek Parkway and 64th.
Thank you.
Yep. And this is the one where we had the stormwater pond on the south side that connects to the storm sewer on 66, goes down. So, it's a good thing we awarded the 64th Avenue project, because this one, for this to go, that has to happen.
Yep.
And that's why this is lagging behind that one. It'll be about a month or half a month or so of lag, just so we can get that one established and then get a bidder for that second one.
Any other questions on this one? Pretty boilerplate, really. See, that's procedural.
Yeah, I don't see anything on here. Give me just 1 second. I wanna look at drainage.
So it all drains.
That's a fairly deep pond. It goes from 906 to 891.
Yeah, it's a, trying to keep some of them deeper for water quality. We found that the deeper ones maintain the water quality better.
Are we planning a riprap edge around that?
This one has a flex mat, so a form of riprap, but it's not as heavy as the rock, and the grass can go through it, so it's easier to maintain.
Okay.
Found that with some of the big riprap, it overloads, it doesn't overload it, but grass and stuff can grow through it, and then it just kind of looks unsightly. Whereas this, it's little, I don't know what you want, pavers held together with a mesh, so that half is above the normal water line, half is below the normal water line to account for wave action. And then it stabilizes the bank, and you can run a mower on it and not have to.
Worry about rocks.
You don't have to worry
Yeah.
about the big boulders and whatever
Yeah.
else and stuff, so.
I'm showing some barricades on here. These must be temporary,
Yeah,
the type 3 barricades?
yeah, they're for construction.
Okay. And let me just confirm, storm sewer and inlets.
There has been some
Manholes.
coordination with the city of Fargo along the border between Fargo and Horace. Working through an MOU on that, you'll see that hopefully next month for final approval.
What are we doing on the slope,
On the slope,
for both the road and the ditches?
they just stay the way they are for now.
Okay.
So Deer Creek Parkway is gonna be part of the second phase.
Let me take a look at the electrical plan real quick. Feed point. Standard black luminaries
Yeah,
on this one,
yeah.
with the LED tops?
Mount Vernon's with the, yep.
Got it. And feed point is located at the far corner of the commercial, lot 9, yes?
Yep. Yeah, we trying to limit the number of feed points, but sometimes it's just a tough push.
Okay,
Get it that far.
I don't have any issues with this. Good.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions on this?
I reviewed and I didn't have any more questions.
Okay. So we'll do these separately then. The resolution, I would say we approve both of these. The resolution approving plans and specifications.
Contingent upon final city staff review.
You want to do that? Contingent on final staff review?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so we want to start that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Jeff makes a motion. Can we get a second on that?
I'll second.
There's a second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. A resolution directing the auditor to advertise for bids. Same contingent on there, Jim?
No, this one can just be
Doesn't
what it
matter,
is.
one or the other,
Yeah,
the other
the
one.
first one will be contingent, the second one doesn't need to be.
I'll make that motion. All right, Jeff makes a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Sarah makes a second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Please make sure that we are very specific because of the amount of utilities planned for that location in the future, that we are holding them accountable to both the marking tape and the sand bedding on that conduit.
Yeah, they're moving some of the stuff on 64th Avenue right now as we speak.
Okay.
One of the MPs or MVs is working on that, and they're, Cass County and a couple others are going together, so there's not as many trenches out there, not
Good.
2 feet, a utility, 2 feet of utility, 2 feet of utility.
Like they
2
usually
feet,
do.
Like they've done it in the past.
I don't want it
Which
to
is
be a
frustrating.
locating nightmare up there like
Yeah.
it is on 17. So if we can avoid that now, it makes sense. Good. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Jim, you got number 11 then.
All right, Mr. Mayor and Council. So, the city was presented with a petition for improvements, or what's called Southdale Farms 9th Edition. The city accepted those improvements. Now we're on to those were accepted on the May 6th, 2024 meeting. the developer and I worked together to create an assessment district boundary. The requested improvements contain both regional and local benefits. Southdale Farms' 9th local benefits include water mains and services, sanitary sewer mains and services, storm sewer mains, laterals, catch basins, inlets, curb and gutter, streets, street lights. Regional improvements include the construction of Christensen Boulevard from 67th Street to 66th Street. So that's why the district may be a little bit larger than what you would typically see for something of a small subdivision like that. As I said in the memo, the regional benefit is the reason for the larger assessment district. So the proposed district as it stands consists of 83.43 acres. New Horizon Homes, which is the petitioner, owns 59.2% of the proposed district. Other owners are the West Fargo Public School District with 10.09 acres, or 12% of the district. The Park District is 10.88 acres, or 13% of the area. McKinnis Holdings LLC with 3.04 acres, or 3.65% of the area. And BT Investments with 10.03 acres, or 12% of the area. As it sits right now, the petitioning party owns 59.2% of the proposed improvement district. I have had some comments from a parcel on the far north corner of 64th Avenue and 66th Street. They're actually here today, if you'd like to listen to what they have to say. They aren't the owner of that parcel, but they are, I believe, under contract to purchase that within the next month or so. And they had some comments on that. So this is kind of an irregularly shaped district when it comes to a collector street. You have to map up, if you wouldn't mind. Christensen Boulevard is kind of an atypical collector in the fact that it's been constructed in segments, and it's constructed from the west and from the southeast, and they're coming together in the middle. And with Southdale Farms being constructed with the 1st edition, the 3rd edition, the 5th edition, 4th edition, 5th edition, and then now the 8th and 9th, because 2 and 6 were kind of like lot splits.
And 7 is a commercial.
And 7 is a
And
commercial.
7.
And 7 is a commercial lot. So this is kind of an atypical district in falling in line with, as guidance, the land use, the special assessment policy. Being that Christensen Boulevard isn't a collector, we do have properties. The policy does state, properties located less than or equal to a distance midway between the arterial and major collector street project and the next major arterial collector are included within the assessment area. The expanded assessment area is an attempt to recognize community benefit of arterial major collector streets in which direct access is often restricted to provide greater ability to move traffic. Under this policy, each property within the city will be included in one north-south major collector, one north-south arterial, one east-west major collector, and one east-west street assessment area. I know we've talked about the inclusion of all of those in some of these, and I think that might come up for further discussion at some point, but that's what we have. So the reason the district is kind of goofy like that is that some of those parcels in the Southdale Farms area have been assessed for the regional component of the Christensen Boulevard, with the 1st phase, the 3rd phase. So that's why it's a little bit shortened on the south side. And then on the north side, we've got that large lot. So if you can circle Southdale Farms 8, that's the one that's in question right now. So
And we're not doing anything with Sunset Valley or,
Sunset Valley is a portion of it. So on the other side of that W for west, that's a portion of the Sunset Valley. And we included that,
other side of the W, show me.
the west, the Section Township Range. Right, go down. Right, there's the W for west.
Yep.
It's in that area, that's the sunset part of it. So, I know, Peter, do you want to talk a little bit about
I'm
what
not
you?
sure if Kim from DRG wanted to speak first on this.
It doesn't matter. I guess it's up to the mayor. So the property is owned by, right now, by New Horizon Homes, which is, I guess DRG or whatever, Christensen Companies, I guess. And then Harvest Outreach Church is also looking at purchasing, or under contract to purchase that, so.
Who's under contract?
Harvest Outreach Church,
Okay.
Peter in the back. So if you want to
Do you guys want to?
hear their concerns, or?
Sure.
Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, do you want me to-
Come on up to the microphone, introduce yourself, then.
Yeah, no, thanks for the opportunity. Jim, I know we spoke this afternoon, and council. Yeah, we were appraised of this late Friday, and so just wanted to engage with the process and make some comments to it, understanding, as Jim was speaking, the regional, local components, the regional arguments, as I understand them, being if there's access being gained by the street going in. For our situation, we understand if people get lost, they might end up coming down Christensen Boulevard to our location. Otherwise, everything coming in 76th, up 66th, or just right off of 64th. So from defining a boundary by traffic analysis purposes, we wouldn't agree with an analysis that points to us being a user of the, or benefitor of the street going in on this. Obviously, from the local water, storm sewer components, there isn't a use being connected to our understanding. And also, I guess, a question on the regional component, if there is an argument for going north to 64th like this, I'd like to ask why Sunset Valley would not fall under the exact same type of argument. If we're going to go, as I understand the policy, to go from the arterial to the north to the arterial to the south to collect or to define the boundary. If we're going to go up to 64th for this, what would be the rationale for not also including Sunset Valley, other than perhaps they're being purchased, it's a parcel being purchased by a different entity? Yeah. I'm not sure if there's a specific question that maybe Jim would be helpful for me to speak to.
I just wanted to give you your time since we talked.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I know, and this might be unnecessary as well. I know we had spoken with the company we're purchasing this from earlier today. I believe we worked out a shared opinion on this. If Kim would like to speak to that, but yeah, that would be our position, our opinion, that there's not a regional benefit being granted by this road going into our proposed parcel, and knowing how the street modifier factors go, to end up going down the road, including this, and then having the majority or a large percentage of this project being carried by a parcel that's not directly benefiting from any element of it. That's a question I would.
Is that a correct statement, Jim? Is this parcel that we're discussing here not directly benefiting from any part of this project?
It'd be the community benefit of it. I mean, you can argue that the street network brings everything together. If you were going to say, come from the south there on 67th Street, come to Christensen, over to, and then up to 66. So there is some of that, but like Peter said, it's predicting traffic flows. And nobody's going to say they ever go that way if they're not going to get assessed for it. We've gone through this quite a bit with these districts, especially when it comes to regional benefit, and that's why I felt it was probably good to have him have the ability to talk just up front, and rather than on the back end once the district's already been set.
So we have water, sewer, storm on this as well. Is there also no benefit to the water
No.
portion?
The water's all local. The only portion of this that's regional would be the Christensen Boulevard portion of it.
How much are we talking here? As
I
far
don't
as
have
an
that estimate
assessment?
yet. We're not that far. The next step is directing the report, and that's when we identify some of that stuff.
Is this property adjacent to Christensen Boulevard?
No, it's 3 away. So Christensen Boulevard is down there, and the property they're talking about is up there. So
give me the rationale then
for,
on this district, number one, and number two, the point that Sunset Valley and potentially the multiple properties that go all the way over to Vista
So
Street are
currently-
included.
currently Christensen Boulevard is constructed approximately to the red line. So that's been assessed out north and south. Christensen Boulevard is proposed to be constructed between the red line and 66th Street as part of this current Southdale Farms 9th project. The reason Southdale Farms and the stuff to the south is because Christensen, not South, I said Sunset, I meant, because Sunset starts, when Christensen picks up at 66th, it'll be Cub Creek away through Platte and goes that way. That will go the full way up to 66th and down the other way.
So you're looking at future
Yeah,
potential
unfortunately,
assessments.
this collector, like I said earlier, is being built in segments. It's not just being built as one. So what we learned from the Southdale Farms of segments, we're proposing in Willow Grove, build the whole collector at once, and then it's done. You don't have little bits and pieces of it that you're trying to develop a district like we are here. So
So are you saying once in future development, once Christensen crosses 66, there will be another district?
yes, there'll have to be another district.
But there is property to the west of 66th in this district. So what is the future district going to look like? You know what I'm saying? I mean.
I think so. So the reason
it's
that
kinda
the
what-
stuff.
Just kind of what Sarah was saying.
So the reason that the area west of 66th is included is for the local improvements of Southdale
Oh,
Farms.
got it. That's
Okay.
because they're in there for the local.
So
They're
that's
there for the
local.
local.
Okay, that makes a little more sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So in theory, as Christensen passes 66th, there will, in theory, be a regional box that will be somewhat, probably including Sunset Valley.
More than
In
likely,
theory.
as it's proposed, and then you guys get to approve it or vote on it or whatever, so.
Okay.
So your discussion here this evening is questioning why you would have a community benefit from this road
In large portion, yeah.
in large portion.
Yep.
And then we've got two properties to the south of your parcel,
Mhm.
and it appears a parcel to the west of yours that also shares that same concern.
Southdale Farms 8 hasn't been recorded yet, shifts that line over. So it's on the line of the 8th edition.
Okay?
So that little sliver there
Mm-hmm.
is part of the 8th edition.
Part of it.
Yeah.
But we have a school lot and a potential park lot also
You have a school lot, a park lot, yep.
that are also sharing in this community
Mhm.
benefit.
And would there be breakout within the district at the Special Assessment Commission level between regional and local?
Yes.
Meaning the Special Assessment Commission would take into account at the time that some of these properties are really only having a regional benefit, which
Mhm.
wouldn't be like you're getting a complete share of the project, if
Yeah.
I'm being clear.
That's what we've done in the past with Christensen Boulevard, is that it's been broken out as a regional.
It's like, this is the road cost.
Yep,
That's
so
gonna
that
be divvied
any
out.
parcel north of there, like the school and the park lot that don't have a water service, they already have water. They wouldn't get, and the Southdale Farms 8th wouldn't get the water portion of it. I shouldn't say not, because there's potential that the Castle Rural will want to connect the water in there, and we'll identify that in the report stage if there's a gap. I can't remember if there's a gap in there. There's not a sewer gap, because that was taken care of as part of 66.
Right, I know we
But
did that.
I don't think we did the water, so I
Okay.
talked with Castle Road because it's in their service territory. So there may be a little water portion of it, but how they assess it is, that's part of their project. The city funds it, Castle Road assesses it.
Okay,
Have we contacted West Fargo Public Schools to get their opinion?
I'm not. We're just in the process of starting it. They will get solicited when the time comes.
It's part of the process.
mhm.
Any other comments you guys want to make? Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Kim. I'm speaking for the developer. We talked to Peter today and also to Jim and Eric, and we are fine if they are not included in this district.
So it would stop at 65th Avenue, and it gets to be what's defined as a community benefit. I personally, we could stop it at 65th Avenue. Just trying to follow the guidance that we have and try to make sense of all those little segments and putting it all together, so.
What
It's
other,
unfortunate that it happened this afternoon on them.
what other assessments is this parcel currently included in?
8th, Southdale Farms 8th, 66th, 65th, 64th, Southdale Farms 4th, and Orchard and the Pear Tree. No, I think it's those 4.
How
I think it's the
about,
ones we talked about, right?
Was
Because we met a week ago to kind of go through all of this, just to make sure they knew what they were getting into when the time came.
right. I just want to make sure that there's an upfront understanding about why a parcel is included or isn't included. And then that is equally distributed amongst the neighboring parcels that may also share the same concerns. And that's where I'm coming in here. If I take one parcel out, will the other parcels below it, being the school and the parks, also say, well, you let him off the hook, why don't you let us off the hook too? And then all of a sudden, we have a very, very, very small district
Right.
and a lot of people very upset because of the amount they have to pay. Precedent is my concern here.
So would you be open to tabling it just for 2 weeks and let me kind of straighten out the numbers, make sure that we're not just flying by the seat of my
I
pants on a
would be, I
Monday.
think that there's a little more discussion that should be had here.
I would agree, I think we're maybe a little premature.
Yeah, because like I said, I didn't know about the compromise until about 5 o'clock.
Okay.
So-
But it's not, like,
I think-
Councilmember Vight's saying, though, it's not just Christensen companies that's
Agreed.
involved with this change.
I agree.
If you're
Right.
okay with it.
I agree. That's why I want to represent it.
Let's make sure it's fair for everybody.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Good, okay.
And just so I'm clear, with the comments that you made, did you say that you were fine with the parcel being included? Or no?
Not being excluded from this district.
I mean, so you're also just coming here to say that you don't want to be included in the district either? right?
Well, they're,
She's
they're
right.
They're
the,
buying land.
they're the
They're the
current,
developer.
the developer, and
Right.
the developer is then selling the land to
To the
the
church.
church.
But you're saying that you agree with the church that you do not want to be included in this district?
Well, we're fine if he is not included in this district.
So the petitioner is New Horizon Hunters Christensen Companies.
Right.
So they own other property that's Southdale Farms 8. They own 59% of the land in the district. So what they're saying is that as a large entity who would take on the additional assessment, they'd be fine in moving the 8th edition.
They're saying that they're willing to take on more in the district if.
In other
If-
areas, okay, because I was a little
if
bit
they were
confused, like, well, we don't
100%
get to just
the
say, like,
owner-
we don't want to be out.
If they owned 100%, I wouldn't have a problem with this, but they're speaking for other people that are not, you know,
That's where I
involved with their
was-
organization.
Yeah, that's where I was getting a little confused in the
Yep.
course of the conversation here, okay.
So I guess I would recommend you table the district for now.
Yeah.
But still authorize me to start the report, just so we can look at some of the specifics of it, to make sure that this kind of interesting shaped district is, the benefit is there for all of
I
that.
don't disagree with that at all, and I believe that report is necessary
Yeah,
to
so
make an
do I.
informed decision.
Yeah,
So
do I.
let's, if
Yeah.
everyone here is okay with it, I'd like
Yeah.
to
Agreed.
move forward with that. So with that, I'll go ahead and make a motion to proceed with the report for the Water Sewer Storm and Street Improvement District 2024-7 Southdale Farms 9th. But we will table the resolution creating the district and the resolution directing the engineer to create the preliminary engineering report. Does that sound?
For 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Does that sound correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Right?
Lucas,
Or
do
did
you
she,
want us to try that one again?
No, what report do you want?
PER?
But then at the end of her
I thought
motion,
so-
she's tabled it.
That's what I thought too for a second, after I thought
No.
about it.
The
So you're
one,
tabling A, approving B.
no,
That's what I was.
Yeah,
no, we've tabled,
yeah,
Cool.
you're tabling A, and then you're asking Jim to start the preliminary engineering report.
Yeah.
the preliminary engineering report
Yeah.
shall be started.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yes.
would be B.
And that would be B.
Yeah, so table A.
B is just directing.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at item 10. You're correct. Item A is
Yep.
officially tabled for 2 weeks. Item B shall proceed.
There, that was easier, right?
So motion is to approve directing the engineer to create the preliminary engineering
Approve B,
report.
table A, and we
Yep,
move along.
yep.
If I'd read the right number.
So
I got a
Sarah,
few of these
so
on
we
my
have a
plate.
Sarah, are you good with that amended motion?
I am. Thank you.
All right. So Sarah's got a motion on the table. So you
Can't
wanna
keep, I
second that
can't
one?
keep all these projects
Second.
straight.
Jeff is second. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you for coming.
All right, so the next one on here is on me to do. This started probably about a month and a half ago. Somebody asked me one time, what I was making, and somebody else said, well, how much an hour is that? And I never really actually looked at it, but when I started actually penciling it out a little bit, we're talking about $10 to maybe $13 an hour for the mayor's slot. I'm not sure what you guys are putting in time-wise, but I mean, I'm sure what we're looking at here. When this started in 2017, we were only doing one meeting a week, so I mean, that they were getting $7,200, $3,600 for the council. And so when we went to 2 meetings, we doubled the salary. We did the same thing for planning and zoning because they went and doubled their meetings too. So that's what precipitated that one. That was in 2017. We're fast forward here to 2024. I was just going to make a proposal It's not gonna affect me at all, but I'm just thinking, you know, if you can make more money as a Walmart greeter than you can as a mayor, I don't know. I think you guys gotta look at that a little bit. It's not that you're gonna make a rich or get a lot of money on this deal, but you should be compensated for your time when you're involved in all the things that are going on. So if you guys are all right with this proposal, it's gonna bring up to $21K for the mayor slot, and then bring it up to $1,200 for the council. For the mayor, that probably gets you up around $16, maybe $18 an hour, depending upon, you know, involvement and stuff like that. So I'm basing it upon that, and you guys are free to do what you want, because like I said, this doesn't affect me, but I'm looking forward that you guys should be compensated for your time. So I'll let you guys make a discussion on that, and you can make a decision what you want to do, or you can ignore it.
Jeff, you're running for mayor, what do you think?
Yeah, I know, don't mean to put you on the spot, Jeff, but
So,
it's, you know.
It's tough to see that I'm the only person running for mayor, that it's that, I don't want to say thankless of a position, but the way to get people to apply for a job is to offer more money on the job. And I'm looking at it from that perspective, that if people aren't willing to do it, and what would have happened if I even pulled my name and we had nobody running for mayor? It's tough for me to see, I'll say, a school board making more money than we do, considering I know how much time each of us spend doing our position here with the city. And I do think that, you know, maybe it would be different if you did pay more, that people would want that position.
At least pay attention to it a little bit more, or want to get involved with it.
Agreed.
I don't know, it's just,
I mean, I was shocked that I was the only person running, to be brutally honest. So, as far as council as well, I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody. I know a large portion of my compensation for council just goes to pay taxes. And at that point, you know, you don't make a whole lot when it's all said and done. So,
and like I said, I don't expect anybody to get rich doing this, but I believe you should get compensated for your time appropriately.
agreed. And I don't have a problem with that. I'll go on the record saying that you know, the way you're going to get people to want to do the position is to compensate them for that.
And I don't think this is out of line, I don't think this is above and beyond anything.
Correct. You look at other cities that are
Right.
similar in size, or have the same amount of meetings and time requirements, they are even paying more than that. And that's, you know, so this, to me, that's still low, but it's something to try to get people to want the position.
Stephanie, thoughts?
I mean, I agree with all your sentiments here too. I mean, obviously nobody takes a job for the money. I knew it would be a time commitment, but it has been even a much more significant time commitment than I recognized it was going to be. So I completely share your sentiments. I'm just uncomfortable with voting myself a raise. I wish there was another mechanism maybe that this could be accomplished, or that there would be maybe more input on it. So while I completely agree with the sentiments, I don't know if I'm comfortable voting myself a pay raise.
Okay, Naomi?
I guess I feel the same as Stephanie. I feel like I spend a lot of time doing this job. My family's had to sacrifice a lot of bedtime stories and events for my kids and things like that. And I definitely have enjoyed my time on council, hoping to continue my time on council. I'm wondering if can we put this on the ballot? Like, can the residents vote for something like this? Because I feel weird giving myself a raise. I just feel that I feel weird about it.
You wouldn't be able to put it on the ballot, this ballot, for example. Could it be a possibility, like in 2 years, unless you do a special election? Maybe, but you would have, if it was a special election, it would be more cost than actually what it probably impacts.
Yeah.
If you do regular ballot, you're talking 2 years out. And that's if it's under that as a ballot question.
I know we all put so much time and effort into helping residents, and we do it because we want to be here. But I do see the value of what you're trying to accomplish. I feel weird giving myself a raise.
Sarah?
I don't know, some of us are just here for the glory.
What's that?
That's so much, Sarah.
The glory. That's all it is. It's the glory. Honestly, I mean, I don't disagree with the sentiment here. We all understand how much work this takes. As our city grows, it's going to take more. I look at this more future councils, not so much this one. I mean, the amount of time that any of us has left is minimal compared to future people coming in, but we do have some people coming in that this is going to be a rude awakening. I mean, the amount of time, the amount of effort, the amount of politics, the amount of coordination with city, state, federal governments. I mean, not to mention the coordination with the city of West Fargo and the city of Fargo on a lot of our building plans. I'm not opposed to this, and I'll be frank. I mean, when you can go to McDonald's and flip burgers for less than someone that has the amount of authority that we have, that's pretty ridiculous. So I'm not opposed to this. Do I feel a little awkward voting myself a raise? Yeah, you bet I do. And I wonder, about the optics of it, but this little bit, no, not even thinking twice.
Just a little bit, vote yes, be done. What's $31,000 a year?
We work really, really hard
Absolutely.
to try to
Absolutely.
keep Horace nice and to make our community a wonderful, wonderful place. And a lot of us sit up here because we feel strongly about that, and we take beatings weekly, sometimes more frequently than that. So,
But again, it is a compensation for time.
well, it is, and when we can't get people on the ballot because they realize the amount of time that it takes and they're not getting compensated for it, I think that speaks volumes. And it has, especially in this most recent ballot that's coming out, so.
And like I've never put in a receipt for gas. I just eat that.
None of us have.
So that's what I mean. We do all that too, and it still burns into that. I knew like the first 3 years of my mayorship, I don't even know if I submitted hardly any receipts for the city. I just kind of ate it because we didn't have a lot of money.
I don't think I've ever submitted a receipt to the city.
Well,
Not for a meal, not for anything.
That's what I mean for the meals, but otherwise, yeah, so, I don't know, it's just, we're growing, the city is growing now, and, that's why I'm saying it's probably time to look at this, and, I would recommend you guys do it. Sorry.
Yeah, so Mr. Mayor, I'll just comment to your point, you're looking at the council itself, you're not looking in your individual capacity, you guys have the power of the purse, your responsibility is to set the budget and to set salaries for all of these positions, including the council position, the mayor position, so I would not look at it as an individual raise, it's for the position.
Right.
It's for the city.
And this would be something that
And
I'd want you guys
it's
to
not
put
been
into
done
the
since
budget.
2017.
Yeah, but I want you guys to put this in the budget for next year. This doesn't start January 1, or July 1, it'd be a January 1 event. We're gonna do this. So,
Okay.
I don't know if somebody wants to make a motion on it or not. Leave it up to you guys.
I'll make a motion to approve your suggested salary increase starting January 1st, 2025.
Okay, Jeff makes motions, you want to second it?
I'll second that.
No, Sarah does.
Get a few others off the hook.
I'm gonna vote.
All right. So, we got a first and a second. We'll roll call this one. Sarah?
Aye.
Naomi?
No.
Stephanie?
No.
Jeff?
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative, so. All right. Make that happen in January 1. All right, Jim, you got 13. Go for
I
it.
do. So, since our last meeting, as far as construction status is concerned, there's been a lot of rain. There's a lot of waiting, and a lot of farming, and a lot of drying. So, as some things haven't been moving along at a real lightning pace. But Wall Avenue West does continue to keep making some progress. The concrete work is done. The light bases are in, waiting for the light poles to be tipped up. Aggregate base is about out to the Jubilee line entrance, which is the end of the line, just beyond that. So they're making some pretty good headway. It sounds like concrete, not this week, but maybe the following week. So straight road, they've done integral curb, they can just make it go. Question? Oh, I had a question.
No,
Oh.
I'm chewing gum and paying
Okay,
attention.
Okay.
Lori.
At the same
Lori.
time.
Yeah, and so the paving is done in Cup Creek Second Edition. They did finally get that. They were able to finally get that done. Figure about 3 good days, and they'll have the concrete sidewalks, the rest of that stuff done. So the plantings are coming along on that one pretty slowly, I would say, but they're going to start on that here in the next couple of days, provided that the weather allows them to do that. 63rd, nothing to report since last time. They've been pulling wire, pulling conduit, putting in bases, but no flat work has been done. Well, the schedule for last week has been flat work. It's just a matter of finding time to get it done in between the rain showers and the rain. So that's coming along. 66th Street keeps progressing at us a little bit at a rate. I mean, I won't say that it's a slow rate. They're not a slow rate. It's just that the soils up there are pretty tricky when it comes to getting them wet. Once they get wet, you got to farm them or dry them.
What's the revised completion on that one?
So I don't have the date yet. I did request it last week because we've still got that lingering change order that we need to talk about.
Yep.
And I wanted to make sure that they had a realistic time frame on that, because that's something we've come across in the past, is realistic time completions on it, so.
It has been a problem, which is why I'm asking, because if they're
Yeah.
taking their sweet time now,
Yeah.
I don't want this to be a crunch at the end, and I'm certainly not going to accept this going into next year.
Right, yeah, and I don't know if I would say they're taking their sweet time. They are kind of dealt a tough hand when it comes to the weather. I mean, it's nothing that every other contractor doesn't have. It's
Oh,
just
it
a
has
matter
been
of-
awful.
Yeah,
Rain,
it's just a
rain,
matter of
rain.
get the soil, get it compacted for the subgrade. Next thing you know, it rains. Farm it all up, dry it all out, put it back together. So I'll admit I haven't been out there a whole lot since they've been started this year, just because it has been kind of sporadic when they have been able to work. But that's just kind of where it's at. River's Edge Second Edition. Pipe work is done except for the stuff we have to talk about in 12B or 13B. Got off track there. But it's another one of those ones where you can't start street construction until you get until it dries out. And that's where it's at right now. It's dirt work and some pumps, a stormwater pump station. So you can well imagine how that's going. When everything is graded to drain to that spot.
I can.
It's a bit of a challenge. So working through that. Like I said, 64th Avenue was bid last week. You Betcha's bid this Thursday. 65th Avenue is bid the next Thursday. And Southdale Farm 6th is bid next week, Thursday. So we got some stuff coming in. I was pretty pleased with the number of bidders we had and the bids we received on 64. So hopefully that carries over into You Betcha. So we did plan some carryover portions of that, like we did Wall Avenue, everything behind the curb. That stuff can be carried over next year, just knowing that the electrical lead times is apparently hasn't gotten any better in the last 2 years. Feed points, I heard this afternoon, are quite a ways out. And poles are in the tens of weeks range to get those. So we know that going into some of this stuff. So other than that, I think the availability of the material is there. So I don't know if you've been out the Lost River, but it slid again. So we had one of our guys who was a prior geotech go out there take a look today, and he's got the AET report. And it's not just that one spot; it's another spot along that west bank too. So that whole west
Really?
bank, oh yeah, it's really starting to let loose on that west side. So I don't have any suggestions yet. I'm letting Toby look through it, read through the report, and see where that lies, and then we'll come back to you with how we want to proceed with it. Just because it could be a relatively considerable project as far as cost is concerned. So we'll just kind of have to see what we come up with for some options, and using that American Engineering and Testing report, just use that and put something together as far as that concerns. So, and then we continue to keep working on the planning for the lift stations. We've worked on an estimate and working on some preliminary specials for 8th Avenue to keep that thing moving. Next in that, we'll be bringing the estimate and the preliminary specials to the City Council prior to a public input meeting before we finish up the report. So I want to make sure that we have everything in line and in order before we bring it to the residents, because that's been kind of a controversial project for the last 7 years, I guess, going into it. So anyways, flow-wise to Fargo, had a couple bad days last week.
Huh.
A couple really bad days last week. So With the request to Fargo for the second line, we're building our case. We're building our case with that, so.
I'm sure we flushed that line going north.
It was 834,000 gallons one day last week, so it really
Yeah.
averages around 2.
Right, just one day?
Typically,
Yeah.
one day.
Wow, yeah.
Yep.
That's the problem with these heavy
Any
rains.
guess on which day it was?
Probably could.
Don't know, we've had a lot of rain, so.
That's what I say, pick one that ends in, I'll give you a hint, it ends in DAY, so. But, so we're progressing along on both sides of that, along with some correlate permitting on stuff west of the version, so.
So are you guys planning to sit down with Fargo again on that and just kind of, I don't know, with the.
We haven't heard anything that they've even accepted the request for service yet.
No.
Brendan and I talked about that last week, that you haven't heard anything back from them,
No,
have you?
no.
So the letter was submitted, I got copied on that.
Yeah.
Requesting them to start on it, and
Yeah.
maybe it's worth a follow-up, I can do that, shoot off an
Yeah,
email
follow,
and just.
if you
follow
don't,
up.
if it didn't, let me know and I'll get a hold of Tim and we'll see what the scoop is. Because it should have gotten in front of the council, maybe it's tonight, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'll find out.
Okay, but that's what I had for as far as the project are
Okay.
concerned.
So you had A, and Lucas, you got the B.
Well, I'll tee it up for Lucas.
Okay.
So, as part of the River's Edge Second Edition, it's municipal sewer, it's city sewer, so that it needs a lift station and a force main. The current force main that crosses under Wall Avenue is on Wall Avenue, and that's where we're running River's Edge and Lost River to that pipe. But River's Edge first blocks it, and Jubilee Equine is the other parcel that's next to it. So in order to get from River's Edge Second to Wall Avenue, we need an easement through Jubilee Equine. We've been in conversation with them for probably going on 12 months, just kind of one way or another. And there were some questions that they had that we had provided some answers on, and questions that we had for them too, as well as how their systems operate and all that. So apparently in the last week, we had some movement on that. Was it last week?
Today.
Today, we had some movement on that, and this is kind of the crucial piece to getting River's Edge done and open to the home builders. So with that being said, Lucas.
Yeah, so as my colleague engineer over here discussed.
Not
this
esteemed,
is
but I'm
an
gonna call
upgrade.
it.
This has been ongoing with the city. I think council was aware that these conversations have been going on. So I've been working with the Dolls the last few weeks to get these easement documents before you. Apologize for getting them to you this afternoon, but it was a thing where working with them and finally got their blessings on the documents. So as Jim referenced, it's actually a sanitary sewer easement to make that connection. And then also a tiny multi-use path easement in the northeast corner of their property. So it's those two easements. They have signed both of those documents. I sent you guys the permanent easement purchase agreement and then the two easements that they signed today. Very form documents that we use for all easements in the city. The easement purchase agreement references the River's Edge project in there. And then for a value for the to compensate them, because I mean the city is essentially taking their property. I used the values that we obtained in the Wall Avenue appraisals, and so their property was included in those appraisals. So I just took that value to derive the compensation for those easements. So that's described in this document as well under Section 7. Part of this project, Jim has been in conversation with the contractors, and they're going to bore the sewer line, so there's going to be limited disturbance. That was big for the Dolls, and so they appreciate the city's willingness to do that for the project. And then they just asked for a small privacy fence for the multi-use path. It's going to be like 25 feet wide.
Basically just cuts the corner of their property.
Their concern is because there's a multi-use path there, they don't want little kids going up to horses and stuff, so they wanted the fence there. And honestly, it's a good liability fence for the city, because the city doesn't want to just have people walking up to the horses. So they just asked for that as well, and Jim and I have been in conversation about that. So yeah, it'll end up being 50 feet wide for that privacy fence.
The fence will be 50 feet long.
Mhm.
Not wide.
I was just gonna say, I hope it's not 50
Pretty
feet
thick
wide.
fence.
A healthy
How
fence.
wide is a multi-use path?
10 feet, I would
10
say.
feet?
I just have the easement
I
area.
believe it's 10 feet, that one is 10 feet, that part of the world.
But the easement's 25?
The easement's 50 by 125.
50 by 125. Okay.
For the multi-use path and the sanitary sewer is 25 by however long the property is.
That's quite a ways.
It's an 80-acre parcel, so whatever that.
Are you sure that the multi-use path is in the northwest and not the southwest corner? of the front?
Northeast.
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 So where the,
corner.
where the current treatment plant is for River's Edge first, it cuts across there,
Ah,
and goes into River's Edge.
okay. Whole different ballgame.
Yeah, so Lucas and Jim, thank you guys for getting that across the finish line, because that's been an ongoing deal for almost 2 years, I think, since we started these conversations.
Been a
with
while.
them, so, thank you. Any questions on this one? It's pretty boilerplate, and we finally got it done, so. Anybody?
No,
Okay.
I read the paperwork that you sent
Yeah.
So,
over on the email, so.
It's pretty key to the completion of River's Edge
Mhm.
Yeah.
second.
Very much so.
And it's nice that they're willing to work with us and we're willing to fairly compensate them with actual numbers, most recent numbers, so that everybody's on the same page. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, and I'm glad they brought the paperwork over to you this afternoon, too. so.
Yeah.
Somebody want to make a motion then to accept the easement documents?
I can.
Okay. You want me to make a motion? Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Stephanie has a second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. All right, Brent, you got the next one.
Okay, a couple items I have for you. Just a reminder, election is next Tuesday, June 11th. It is at the Senior Center, not the Fire Hall, Senior Center is where it'll be held. Another item is BMS pay is being delayed until July 1st, so we are working towards a new automated payment system. That's being delayed until July 1st. Staff did not feel that BMS was entirely prepared to convert us without hiccups, so we requested a delay to give them additional time to make the process smooth. There'll be noted on utility bills in the info section, but an insert will be sent out, has been sent out the last 2 months, and won't be resent to save resources. Social media information will begin shortly, so we'll do a post or two on social media, website, and it'll be on the utility bill, just a reminder. So
Is there an action that the residents need to take?
they will need to set up bill pay again.
Oh,
Their
okay.
automatic bill pay is my understanding, yes, they will need to set that up.
A whole new
Yeah,
utility account.
but
Gotcha.
it's, I believe it's a little cheaper, isn't it?
It is cheaper.
The fees are a little cheaper for them to use this
Okay.
process too, so. Utility bills also will be sent a little later, this month than they typically are. We ordered envelopes about a little over a month ago, and they ain't come in yet. They're supposed to be out here on Wednesday, is what we've been told. So we expect to have utility bills out by the end of the week, but it is a little later than what we normally do. So just to give you a heads up on that one. Special assessment policy, Jim and I have met with each of the Special Assessment Commission members. Just general concept conversations and touching base, so I'll be reaching out to Jeff and Corey, touch base with them, and then I'll touch base with each of the council. Hope to be bringing that to council here next meeting, that's my goal. But like I said, we did meet with each of the assessing commission members here in the past couple work days. Speed trailer on Lost River Road. Sheriff's Department notified me today saying that they'd be moving that trailer to be facing southbound on Lost River Road instead of northbound. So hopefully it'll be a little more effective.
Okay.
Asked for that a little while back, but they got back with me today. And then approximately.
Speed bumps are in.
And speed bumps are in.
Speed bumps are in, they've been in
Yeah.
for a week.
I heard.
Yep. And then
They're that
approximately.
loud?
Hmm?
You hear at your house?
No,
Okay.
I got a thank you
Okay.
from some residents.
Approximately half of the boulevard trees have been planted. We've had quite a bit of delays, obviously, from the rain. So haven't been as quick about the boulevard trees as we would like to. And that's also limited us on mowing too, which is understandable, I think, across the city, where by the time you're ready to get the mowers out, and we get more rain. So I know the guys did take a day or two last week and try to do more of all hands on deck mowing day, but trying to catch up with the mowing and also get these trees done. So, like I said, about half of them are in now for trees. So that's what I had.
Let's see, on the portfolio reports, Darren from the chamber wanted me to remind everybody that tomorrow, I think it's 4:30 to 6 p.m., there's a candidates forum, I believe, for the Horace group. Is it the 4th? Talk to me then, what is it then?
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday? Okay.
I was gonna show up on Tuesday and go, well,
Oh, you're
this is
right.
what Corey
Okay, so
said.
6 and 4. Okay, it was Wednesday. Yeah, all right. I had it mixed up then. Anyway, that's from what, 4:30 to 6, right?
5:30.
4 to,
4 to 5:30?
Yeah.
no one was there.
4 to 5:30.
And everybody knows where it is, it's good. Where is this then?
At the chamber.
It was,
You know where that's at?
William?
Cass County Electric Building.
So you wanna go for that?
Okay. Yeah, other than that, I'm gonna try and do some last meetings with a couple of the mayors who are in town. I'm trying to get that done here in the next couple of weeks, so. That's about it. Sarah, what do you got?
I'm just curious if you're looking forward to retirement, Grandpa.
Very much so, thank you very much.
For those that don't know, Corey became a grandfather recently within the last month, and congratulations,
Thank
Corey,
you. Yep.
to you and your family and to your children. The only thing I had, 2 things. Number one, any inundations with lift stations with the heavy rains in the
Yes.
last couple weeks? And any problems that we need to address? Because I know we've been working through taking turns with lift stations recently.
We have one where we need to address pumps.
Yeah, they
Or
just
by the
provided the
school.
quote for that one.
Yep,
Stormwater
so-
pump.
Yep.
Pillar spun off the shaft, but,
It did,
Yeah,
finally.
yeah, it spun off, and
Okay.
it's under warranty, but it's only under like a 50%, it's a prorated warranty, so it's like $5,000 for it to fix it, and 10 or whatever, it'll come to you. next.
Over by the schools, the.
It's stormwater, it's
Stormwater
not-
pond over by the schools, the
Yeah.
pump station there. The pumps are going out on that, so we need to address that.
Aside from
So
high
back to-
alarming, there hasn't been any discharges that I'm aware of, as far
Good.
as throwing a hose in and bailing water, but.
I'm just praying that number one and number two
Yeah.
don't give us any
Well,
difficulty.
As long as we can keep 7 Lost River off of them for the most part, but I have a feeling there's gonna be a hand slapping coming if we keep sending 800,000 gallons of water.
I'm-
800,000 gallons a day to Fargo with.
I'm a little bit worried myself. Okay.
So Adam and I have talked a little bit about that starting last week when that 800,000 gallon day did hit, about what can be done as far as, I mean, the systems are all interconnected, it's just a matter of where we put it in Fargo, put it in the lagoons, but the lagoons aren't the end all be all either, because they're running pretty full right now too, with all this groundwater, so. But as far as overloaded stations, high alarming, yes, having to bail, no.
Good. Okay, second question. I had some residents reach out inquiring if the city or the park district, and I don't represent the park district, but I know somebody that goes to their meetings, and the city I can coordinate with. They're very interested in some sort of community gardens. Curious if there's any land that the city would have available that they might be interested in working together in a partnership with NDSU and their extension office with the community gardens. Possibly looking at doing either a food market or food donations to the food pantry through a community garden. And that could be open to residents, you know, charge $25 for a little plot, and they can come and grow their own food and do whatever they want to do, teach their kids gardening. I had a lot of interest in that, and I'm just curious if there would be any options. So if you'd be so kind as to look into that over the course of the next 2 weeks and come back at the next meeting, I would appreciate that. I know we have some small slivers of land that are kind of odd shaped that I mentioned that may be possibilities, but again, we need to take a close look at that. So that was something that came up from several different individuals. And that's all I have on top of the project work, obviously.
Sounds good, thank you. Naomi?
I don't really have anything. I haven't.
No? Stephanie, what do you got?
I meant to mention last week, I don't remember how long the sidewalk along Wall Avenue has been open across the bridge. It's
Probably
been
about last
couple
week.
Yeah. Anyway, it's wonderful. If anyone has done it, the connectivity is great.
They're putting the lights up tonight, actually.
Are they actually?
Oh, are
looking?
they? Yeah. If you haven't been out that way, it really turned out nice. I really like how it looked. It's good connectivity. I checked out the speed bumps out there too by Meadowlark Park. I think that's gonna be helpful, I hope, to the residents. And we just continue our work with planning bee days. Paul's been working hard on that. We have another committee meeting this Thursday, so I think it's gonna be another great event this year.
Sounds good.
That's all I have.
Jeff, before you go, I just realized I have a third thing that I forgot to bring up.
Okay.
Forgive me.
Okay, we'll let her.
Mosquito spraying before the 4th of July.
Yeah.
It's the third thing that folks are asking me about. If you could look into what we're doing for treatment, or if there's some aerial spraying that could happen. A lot of folks are planning on being around for the 4th, since our community is really beautiful.
So
I don't know what the option
Typically, the spraying is based on the trap counts.
Mhm.
Aerial spraying, we haven't done aerial spraying because of the effectiveness really along the river, and you
Yep.
can't have tree canopy because it's coming from down. We've been fairly effective with truck-based spraying, but I think it'll depend on where the counts are. I'll need to talk with Adam and see where they're at, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to have to be doing some spraying soon. It's just
I'm
rain
going to
after
be-
rain after rain. I think it's actually
Yep.
causing them to be at bay a little bit, but yes, we'll have to do something.
Please make sure we schedule something before the 4th so that families can be outside with their children enjoying.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Have we received any weekly reports from Vector Control like last year? Or has
They've
it
been fairly quiet this year.
I haven't heard anything yet.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
I've not gotten any of
Yeah.
it.
I would assume it'll be pretty quick, we're gonna be hearing something.
I mean, I've
'cause
seen them
they're
in
out
my
there
yard.
now. but-
It's been a little weird. They've been fairly quiet this year, especially given all the rain. I think it's been a little cooler overall, but given the rain we've had, I am surprised it's been as quiet as it has been, so. But I would anticipate we're going to be having to do some spraying in not too distant future, because I think it's supposed to warm up in the next week, and typically it's about a week after you had good rainfall is when you
Excuse me.
see the next batch of mosquitoes come out, so.
They have been out.
Yeah, they
were
have
in
been
our-
out.
They were in our backyards in our neighborhood along the
Mhm.
river, so.
Yep. So I'll bring it up with our public works staff, though.
What else you got, Jeff?
Well, I'll start now.
There you go. Okay.
A week ago, or a little longer ago, I contacted Jace and Jim about the our downtown planning and stuff like that, the state money. Have you guys heard back from that?
Just,
Nope, we have not heard. Last I heard, when I talked to SRF, who's the consultant firm that's going, they were given a 1 to 2 week window, and that was 1 to 2 weeks ago, so.
Because they confirmed that they got the change from MetroCog, they haven't acted on it,
Yeah.
is what you're saying, okay? And then the
I think
only
we're
other-
still waiting for NDDOT to green light the funds, which then green lights SRF to go forward.
Okay.
the
And
the last communication was about the Unified Work Program being sent to NDOT, I believe.
Yeah, and that approval of that Unified Work Program is where the funding comes from for the plan.
okay, and that was the only real
Yeah.
update I have. I mean, there was other stuff from MetroCog, but not terribly important for Horace. That's about it.
Okay, I got one last thing I was gonna ask you, Brent. At our next meeting, can you have Keith put together a permit update for all of us, so we can kind of gauge our mid-year where we're at as far as permits go?
Yeah. Yes, I could check with them on that one. To give you a general idea where they are, they're slightly above last year.
And that's fine. That's, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
gauge where we're at, and maybe go back a couple of
Yeah.
years and just see where we're at.
Down from what 2 years ago was,
Yeah.
up from last year.
Okay.
And we'll work on getting an updated report for this.
Well, that's all I'm looking for. All right, with that, I'm looking for a motion to resign and adjourn. I'm trying to sneak on.
All right, I'll make that motion for you to adjourn.
Slither away, yeah. Okay, Jeff, can I get a second from somebody?
Second.
All right, Nate, we did a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Weird.
A little premature, you just You're itching for it.